Alright everyone, welcome to Jasper's History Facts. Today is August the 15th, and on this day, in 1945, breaking all previous precedents set by other emperors, Emperor Hirohito of Japan came out and spoke to the public of his country, saying that they would be accepting the Western nations' calls for peace. So, he frames it a little bit differently. He does say peace. It was more of a surrender. That's what the Western allies were asking for. Hirohito, in Japan at this time, not as much now, but definitely back then, the emperor was seen kind of like a god on earth. So he didn't speak to the public. They never heard him speak. They barely ever saw him. But he was the emperor. And it was just not something that the emperor did, speaking to his people. So this is a big deal. It was a potential attempt at a coup of Hirohito by the military. They thought they could still keep going in this war. They did not want to give up. I don't know why, but Hirohito was at the point where he said no more. No more war. His people couldn't handle it, and he himself was probably fearing for his life to some degree. So he probably didn't want to have this war no more. He mentions a few things. The main things that he mentions are the atomic bombings and how they are a big influence on his surrender or his wanting to talk for peace, which makes sense. Something like the bombs had never been really seen before. And people now, we think about the bombs and how devastating they really were, but it's hard to see them for the first time. Once you've seen them, it's like, okay, well, it's just a big bomb. But something like this has never happened. A whole city being obliterated in a blast. It's just not something that happened. You had the fire bombings, which are devastating, but they're not just one big giant blast. This is something much more terrifying. And America did say, we had more of these if, you don't surrender. And so you could see why, especially an emperor would be like, okay, we're done, guys. We're done. It's good on him that he did surrender. It would have just costed extra lives that weren't necessary. And really, at this point, the war wasn't necessary. But, yeah. And,